This time on Roadkill, Dave picks the wrong vehicle to fail at drag racing in front of a lot of people.
Okay, wait, to be fair, it was the right vehicle for failure, right? Yeah! Thank you. We suck!
Again.
Here's what's gonna happen. The same concept as the Roadkill vet cart applied to drag racing. Cut off all of the ugly and go as fast as we can for cheap. Let's go back to the early 1950s and the beginnings of drag racing. Back then, guys would take, a Model A or a 40 Ford or something like that, and they'd remove the body and they'd run nothing but an engine and frame rails. Have you ever heard a dragster referred to as a rail? That's why, because they were nothing but frame rails, and that's what this is gonna be. So, Finnegan's gonna show up in a couple of days. I'm gonna get started on this thing now. I've got help from Lucky Costa from Hot Rod Garage.
What the heck?
Steve Dulcich from Roadkill Garage.
Man, this looks pretty good.
I'm sure you'll see shop manager Kalen around in the background, and you're gonna see a bunch of other Roadkill cars because we're getting ready for the Zip Tie Drags, which is a Roadkill event in Tucson. We've got all these cars to get ready in addition to building this. And yep, when we're done, we're gonna drive it all the way from LA to Arizona.
Truck's a little messy. I think it was used to haul contraband. It smells kind of bad.
I think what I'm gonna do is once we get the rack off of it, we're gonna weigh the truck so we know exactly how much we took off.
Whoa, don't dent the roof, dude.
Any guesses?
I'm gonna say 5,300.
I'm gonna go with 62.
That much, really?
5850.
Wasn't the rule as close as you can get without going over?
Yeah, so I win. 5850. Here it comes. Great. Our first performance upgrade. We're gonna be able to buzz all this stuff off like crazy. We can get rid of all those exhaust hangers, and this is useless. Let's get the plasma.
Have you used the ESOP plasma cutter yet?
I have not.
This is just butter.
Really?
This is butter to that
break
thing.
it out. All righty. That is some stinky rubber
It's not my kind of rubber.
from the weed truck.
There
it comes.
you go. Look at that. Let's just go drive it around right now.
So much easier to work on now. I'm debating if we should cut the roof off. See, at this point, you got to decide about the functionality we're going to have and the massive weight reduction that I'm going for, and of course, the style. That's what's important here. I'd really like to get rid of as much of the body as possible and just have it full tube like the vet cart. The engine's much further forward than I thought it might be.
You're thinking crazy stuff right now, aren't you?
Oh, I'm having evil thoughts right now. Realizing since we have this big, humongous frame, instead of shortening it, what happens if the engine goes behind the driver? The engine in trans is 64 inches.
Wait, what did you just say?
What?
You're gonna put the motor back here?
That's what I'm looking at. If the front of the engine was right there, I think there's enough room for a little stubby drive shaft. We would flip the axle on top of the springs, and I think it would be like a drive shaft this long.
Less drive shaft to brake.
It is. It'd be really easy to do. We just made the decision. We are moving the engine to the back, and we're not going to use the body at all. It is going to be full-on dragster. This is going to be great.
A gigantic dragster.
Yeah, it's a truckster.
Okay, we'll get busy.
I think it's a great idea. I love the idea, mid-engine.
We're gonna end up putting the axle on top of the leaf springs to lower the back of this thing radically. We're also gonna have to notch the frame a little bit for that, and it's not gonna take these shocks. So I'm just taking stuff apart. I've gone through the frame and just removing everything we don't need.
I'm gonna have to get the drive shaft out of here so we can lift the engine out of position. And then Dave can have the rear end free to flip it on the springs.
We got as far as we could in the back with the axle on top of the leaf springs. We need a saddle kit that'll be here tomorrow. So now we're gonna move to pulling the engine out. I really wanted to get an LS powered truck for this project, but I couldn't find one that was affordable. And the reason is those LSs have gotten so popular that the prices have actually come down on these 454 big blocks. This used to be the ultimate junkyard find, and now they're kind of not. But it still has killer power potential when we want to grow this thing in the future. We can put killer heads on it and stuff, make a bunch of power. But right now, we're gonna slam it in the back. I want to see how fast we can make this thing go for as cheap as possible. Look at that! We got plenty of drive shaft room, got plenty of driving room in here. Look at this. Yeah, we're gonna be like this. Oh man, plenty of leg room. Finnegan is gonna lose his mind when he sees this, but when he figures out that we're going mid-mounted on the engine, I think he's gonna approve and get over it immediately. I'm super stoked now. There was a point today when I was looking at the cab and wondering if this was really that great of an idea, but the fact that we stumbled into the crew cab, it was just available to us, gave us the room to do this, it's all win. Or it will be at some point later in the week. Day 2, and we've already made a whole bunch of progress on this thing. I can't believe it's this far gutted. So Steve is gonna work on the engine a little bit. He's trying to get some broken studs out of it. And over here, Lucky is working on just hacking all sorts of brackets off the frame that we don't need.
So for all the people out there that do their amount of modifications of frames, they come across these rivets, which never come loose unless you crash into something. The key is a sharp tip on a air hammer. And you can still do it. Cut the head off, punch the rivet out, done.
Well, we're about to put the new spring saddles on this thing for the flip kit.
Well, those springs compressed pretty good, didn't they?
Yeah, you made us take all those leaves out.
Yeah.
Now imagine all the weight on it. You can see we're gonna need a C-notch. Too soft. Now that we know roughly where this is gonna go, let's make our engine happen.
Skateboard it up, man.
Now that we have the rear end mocked up in there, we know about where the pinion is gonna be, and so we can take the engine and mock it where we want it to be and start building brackets. These are gonna go right in here, and then they will have a tube welded through them so that they don't crush when we tighten the bolt, and the tube will also act as a spacer to take up this space. Turns out the transmount's gonna be pretty easy. Straight across here, little flat piece going to the transmount, boom.
Shakalaka. Yeah, what I'm gonna do is do a tab on the end and make it so that we weld the outside.
Yep, perfect. I'm gonna start making the floor in here. This whole thing is not really happening like in an order, like finish this job, move on to the next one. Everything is sort of intertwined. It's like now we have the rear end partially mocked up, therefore we have the engine partially mocked up, therefore we were able to partially mock up the seat, but before I lock the seat in position, I wanna do this. So it just keeps getting, more jobs stacked ahead of the next in order to get it done. Lucky's over there making a trans cross member though. We'll get that finished soon. I've got a basic framework of the floor here, and I'm gonna cut some metal out of the hood to make the floor.
One of the biggest jobs we had was getting the motor mounts figured out. We needed the engine pretty well centered and parallel to the frame rails. Freiberger is gonna weld this in. Once this is in place, we're gonna come in, put a little flag on the transmission cross member we fabricated. That's gonna catch the transmission mount in the back, and this thing is going to be in.
The bee's knees?
Oh, it's going to be great.
We just got the engine and trans in for the final time for the first time, so that's pretty good.
I'm happy.
Yeah. Once I put the seats in, I feel like the visual will come together because I can start to see like where the roll cage is gonna go, and I'll feel better. Ooh, find out if the headers fit.
Going to fit like it was made for it.
Like a glove?
Man, they had this mid-engine placement in mind when they designed these. Look at that.
Too bad it points directly at the trans cross member.
No, that's all right.
How about flipping them over just for fun?
Do they fit upside down? Oh, that's pretty good.
Inside the frame rail.
It is pretty graceful looking, I'll give it that.
That looks crazy.
Yep. It definitely has good flow, just like stylish. Here, let's see if this is right. I mean,
Yeah, it seems,
with a floor,
that seems right.
I'm like a straight line to the steering box.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to see you drive past a weigh station and the cops run for their cars to catch you.
This is actually the old roll bar we never used for the Rotson. And it almost fits. If we cut it shorter, it will.
Working on the roll cage here. Lucky brought his bender, and we're making a halo, which is going to represent the roof of the roll cage and give us a place to put the windshield. Yeah, you wouldn't want it any closer than that.
I would go further forward because the other thing is we'd like to be able to get in and out of the top.
Right.
And we're going to put an X in it. Okay, well, it's been a long day. We've gotten a whole lot done. We're still fiddling with roll cage tubing, but I think we're going to make this one down bar and then get out of here. We'll come back Monday, and Finnegan will be here to critique all our fabrication. That's going to be fantastic.
About a little bit, yeah, you're right.
You mean because it's bent too much?
Yeah, well, I think I just didn't give it enough.
Oh, wow.
But this, hey,
We're so busted.
what's happening?
The motor's in the back now.
You saw it on Instagram, didn't you?
I like that the motor's in the back.
Yeah, it seemed like the right thing to do.
This is fantastic.
We saved
Yeah.
so much welding by not having to cut the frame.
Have you weighed it?
No.
That's a really good question.
That is the question. I think it's going to weigh 3,000 pounds and we're done there by negating the whole concept, but we're going to have fun.
The headers are a nice touch.
Yeah.
I like that they'll warm the tires. And if anything goes wrong, they'll throw oil on the tires. So
Ooh, that's a good point. I like that.
So everything is engineered for a reason.
Yeah. Now back here is going to be like radiator, fuel cell. There's a lot to do. 4 days.
this is not going to wheelie.
No. No. It,
Kind of happy with that.
So we're really not going to do too much to the engine. The TBI here, it has to go. We're going to change that and put an aftermarket aluminum intake manifold, a budget 4-barrel carburetor, and best of all, we're adding nitrous. This manifold was actually designed way back in the 1970s, early 70s, but it's still a very, very good piece. Keep in mind, if you're running nitrous like we're going to run on this, you really want a single plane because it gives you better distribution when that spray bar is just blasting nitrous and fuel right here into the plenum.
right now we're going to have to divide and conquer. Dulcich is working on hopping up the engine. Mike is working on making our motor mounts more safe, and Lucky and I are going to bend up some roll cage tubing. So it's going to have to be all hands on deck doing all sorts of different things in a lot of chaos in order to get this thing done. We've got 4 days and then zip tie drags. Right now I'm using a hole saw type notcher. This fish mounts the end of the tube so that it'll fit into the upright like that, so that there's a nice seam where it can be welded. Kind of not the right tool, but it works.
The thing about nitrous is, it's just so darn easy to install. I've got the fittings and lines installed just kind of loosely, and nitrous is blue, fuel is red. And right here, I'm capping it off with the Brawler carburetor. It's a double pumper, it's all aluminum construction. Basically on the spec sheet, I'd say it's a pretty good unit. We'll have to see how it runs, but probably pretty good.
Yeah, we're figuring out how to use the stock truck steering column here. And by we, I mean Lucky.
It's because you really need that cruise control when you're driving a mid-engine, 1-ton drag buggy. Now, brake pedal.
See if it works.
From the truck. All right. So the idea was to use the stock pedal box out of the truck. We're gonna go ahead and use part of it. I simulated the firewall and dashboard cowl with this bar, so that holds the steering column. The pedal assembly pivot point is still out of the stock pedal box, and I'm just really sad you're catching all this on video, because if anything goes wrong, it's me.
The roll cage is rapidly approaching good enough. And so we're moving on to some accessories. We decided to take our original radiator and mount it back here like a little bit of a wing. This thing visually needs like some weight back here because it's so front loaded. And so the radiator is gonna go there. Obviously we're gonna need to plumb all the water, and then we're gonna have a fuel cell here, and I think we're gonna hang nitrous bottles off the roll cage.
As you can see, we've got the radiator mounted. Lucky made these really cool brackets, and it's all nice and tight. What I'm gonna do now is figure out where we're gonna mount the fans. We've got two of these big, round electric fans. You don't want them up here because the wind's gonna be blowing this way, so they have to be mounted back here. It's as though it's made for it. So that's the cooling system. It's almost completely set up.
We're gonna use this as the firewall, only it's behind you in this car. I'm gonna cut this section out right here and put it between the water pump fan belt and the back of the front seat. It's all about recycle.
Here's a tech tip. Kalen found a set of these old Flowmasters sitting around, and you can see that they're like 2 1/4 inch pipe, which obviously we don't want for our fire-breathing big block, but you can hack the end off of it like I've done right there with the plasma cutter and open it up to a bigger size. And then I'll be able to weld the exhaust tubing directly to it like that and have better flow. Obviously, I'd like to get it past the radiator. What I'd really like is for it to end right there with a turnout. That would be key.
Right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off the old rubber and put on the new giant drag slicks.
These tall tires just undid the benefit of our 410 gears, but I don't care.
That's gonna affect how this thing sits. We're gonna eyeball it and go, all right, hey, we want the front lower, the back lower. And when we do that, that's gonna dictate our pinion angle, which is then gonna dictate where we mount the back of the transmission, so.
Like there. Now it could go in. There we go.
Oh, it's like it's wheeling already.
Whoa.
You may want to put a couple leaves back in there.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's almost all the way to touching the frame.
Yeah,
It would be great not to have to C-notch it.
we're gonna have to.
Put a couple leaves in it, lower the front, call it good.
Oh, wow. Those slicks really make the vehicle.
Yeah. They need smaller front tires now.
Yeah.
Those are too big.
Well, now we're down to 2 days. We've officially named the vehicle the Ugly Truckling. That came off some fan on Facebook whose name we don't remember, so we can't credit him. And we have a whole lot of stuff to do, and I've marked the stuff that's optional, and it's only just a very few things. But we still have 4 guys working on it. We have less than 48 hours to get this thing running and driving and road tripping to Arizona.
So we've got the transmission finally buttoned in. We've got the cross member, the rear's mounted up, and I've taken this protractor. I measured the angle of the drive line here. It's 3.5 degrees. There is going to be a relationship between the angle of the transmission and the pinion angle. Ideally, under operating conditions, if the tail shaft of the transmission is 3.5 degrees down, under load you'd want an equal and opposite angle at the pinion, 3.5 nose up. We are at 0.5 degree. 3.5 plus 0.5 degree, that's going to give me a total of 4 degrees pinion angle, which is pretty close.
This is the Shin Killer 3000. It does 2 things here. provides a surface for you to walk into. And it also mounts these highly illegal off-road lights that are going to double as our headlights.
So the problem was we got this gauge kit and there was no way that the capillary tube for the temp sender was going to make it from the dash all the way back to the engine. So we're going to read it in the rearview mirror right here. Zip tied it in place perfectly. You can see them in the rearview mirror, which is a miracle we even have one.
Part of Freiberger's plan for this truck was to lower it, and he did that by flipping the axle from beneath the leaf springs to on top of the leaf springs. And what that did was that decreased the distance between the axle tube and the frame rail. These are bound to run into each other. So we're gonna cut this out by about 2 inches higher, and then we're gonna take these Beltec bolt-in C-notch plates and burn this thing in.
Everything that we brought to 75% yesterday is at a solid 80 today. Most of what's left, I think, is like plumbing and wiring and mount the fuel cell. So I think we're gonna get on some of that stuff tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow for the really boring moments leading up to the fact where we actually start it and drive it away.
Which is only 497 miles from here. I'm sure we'll make it without incident. We got this! Yay, team! This is the last day of the build, and yesterday was really productive. Check this out, we got a lot done. Now has floors, which were built out of the hood of the truck. We have 2 seats with seat belts. The motor and trans fully locked down. We have a drive shaft safety loop. We have limiting chains. So when Freiberger jumps this thing and the axle comes down, the drive shaft doesn't pull apart and fall out, and when he lands, turn into a pogo stick and kill him. I mean, this is beautiful. The fuel cell's practically, yeah, that's in there. I mean, it's practically ready to go. Our spoiler's almost done. We'll be out of here tonight, for sure. Not late at all.
How's that trans controller coming?
It's not here, but it will be. We'll be fine.
I'm buttoning up all the plumbing on the cooling system. Our 1.5 inch aluminized muffler pipe is what it is. The cool thing is it's treated on the inside and the outside, it won't rust. But I'm pretty sure the car's life expectancy is not quite as long as these pipes, so I like these. Crash ready magnetic lights. This your idea, Mike?
Oh yeah, we'll use them on the next car too.
Good idea.
And it's for those people that are really indecisive about where they want the lights to go.
Right.
So we've got 1-ton coil springs in the front of this vehicle. We've removed all the weight from the front of the vehicle, so that is way too much spring. I'm just gonna plasma cut the spring out of there. That is called doing the wrong thing the right way. Oh, these springs, that's
cute.
a lot lighter than what was on there before.
Okay, so we went in the catalog and we looked everywhere for a 1-ton truck coilover conversion. We couldn't find one. Plus, the engine's not here anymore. The cab's not here anymore. We needed a special spring rate. So we gave a call to RideTech, John over at RideTech, and told him what we were doing. And when he got done laughing, he then sent us these shocks. 250 spring rate on each side, was that right?
Yes.
250 on each with a single adjustable shock. It's gonna do everything it needs to do and send this rocket down the track.
So 15 hours from now, we're supposed to be about 40 miles from here, meeting I don't know how many Roadkill fans, so that we can all cruise together to Tucson. That's a tight window, it really is.
We're at the point now where the list looks really short, but every time you get a job started, more stuff gets added to it because we're wiring and we're plumbing, and like I don't have the right fuel pressure regulator, and we don't have a throttle position sensor that we need for the transmission controller, and all this little stuff is just stacking up right now. We're making a zillion runs to the parts store.
That's too low.
Yep.
That's got 0 spring.
I'd say it needs to crank up more. We've got a coil-over shock absorber that RideTech sent us, and it has an adjustable ring that goes up and down so that you can adjust where the bottom of the coil spring is, which raises and lowers the vehicle. How's the spring rate?
Perfect. Look at that. This thing is just sitting beautifully.
So can we check fuel system leaks?
Do it.
You ready?
Whoa, flow bowl's just filled up. That's crazy. Life is good.
Okay, fuel system officially handled. We're pretty close. Let's put wheels and tires on. I like those off-road tires, Dolchek.
We're about to go on a test drive finally. And I like having things legal.
The moment has come. We're actually gonna fire this thing up and drive it away. Fuel on, lights. Whoa!
We have brakes.
It goes.
Give me an oil pressure check via the rearview mirror.
It's good.
All right.
This thing's really long.
It's like driving a motorhome.
Man, that smoke is deadly. Oh, we need goggles or a windshield or helmets. This is bad. So the Trans is doing everything it's supposed to?
Yep.
Good enough for me. Let's get on the road.
All right.
Ready?
Hit it.
Ah! This is undrivable. How do people ride motorcycles with no helmets?
I think they're bitter. The bitterness gives them a protective layer.
Look at the inside the air cleaner.
Crank it.
Uh-oh. That was funny. All right, this is a death trap.
Yeah.
I love it. Now that this thing is done and outside, I think it looks way cooler than I was anticipating from seeing it inside the shop for so many days. And that's a good thing, because I suspect that it is way heavier than I want it to be, and I know it's way slower than I want it to be, and we don't have a full nitrous bottle. But we gotta hit the road anyway, and tomorrow morning we're either making a windshield happen, or we're getting helmets, or we're getting goggles, or something. Goal number 1 achieved. We made it here to Irwindale Speedway, which is our local drag strip and circle track. We did trailer it out here, and so when we take off, it's gonna be the very first miles we've actually put on the thing. But I brought the Lexan, so we're gonna make a windshield on this thing. We've got all of our friends here who brought their cars out, and we're gonna caravan to Tucson Dragway. Everyone ready for fun? Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, look at
that. Oh, that's virtually done.
It's like a roof.
Oh, we can drill holes and zip tie that and we're finished.
Zip ties.
Ooh, sweet. Ta-da!
Now we're ready.
All right, that's as done as it's gonna get. Who thinks we're gonna make it all the way to Tucson in this thing? No? Who says no way?
Oh, we forgot to adjust the shocks.
Well, it just bottomed, so I don't think we want them looser.
I already feel wind.
Me too. Oh good, there's already a highway patrol. Maybe they'll end our misery quickly. I can read the gauges, we're in good shape so far. Temperature's good, oil pressure great. Puking water everywhere. We need to get a radiator cap. It's pouring out. I think at this point it's let out so much water.
Yeah, I feel heat. This must be hot back here.
Yeah.
So we're driving along, having a good old time, enjoying our ugly Truckling. Except the Truckling wasn't happy. In fact, it was vomiting water everywhere. Emptied half the radiator, actually. The Freiberger decided that our radiator cap was no good, so we bought one of those, and while we were here, I decided we needed somewhere for that water to go when it would vomit. So 1 gallon water jug, a couple of zip ties, and we're back on the road.
smooth sailing.
My rearview mirror gauges say yes.
All right.
We're officially in Arizona now. Gas just got 80 cents cheaper. Well, I'm cruising along, it just dies. I think, is the fuel pump dead? It's on.
It's just the primary bowl's out of gas. Secondary's got gas. I will fix it.
So I'm just driving along and the thing starts to stumble and won't accelerate and dies. So we were either out of gas or getting no fuel for some reason.
This looks like a 5/8.
Yeah.
About the right size.
Nope.
Actual tools.
Which we don't have with us. Because why would you bring tools with you when you have something like this? Well, apparently a fan pulled over and has tools. This 11/16?
Yes.
All right, ready for gas spurt? Okay. You know what? When I opened that, no fuel came out of it. Let's go to the filter. We're narrowing it down. What we're doing is working from one end to the other, finding out where the flow restriction or problem is.
Let's put gas in it. Maybe the pickup isn't all the way in fuel.
That's all that's left.
It's out of gas.
That's all the way down here.
Yeah, it's out of gas.
All right.
Okay, it's out of gas.
Hey,
That
at
was
least
a
we
lot
know
of work.
this is all good.
This
though.
is great.
Yeah. There's a funnel right here on the street.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, you're right.
So we pulled over because the engine didn't want to run very well. And then we decided to show off and troubleshoot a fuel system that really didn't need troubleshooting because turns out there wasn't any gas in the tank.
Ready for your headlights in action?
Indeed.
Please don't break it. We're not there yet.
All right, next stop, gas station, then Tucson Dragway.
Yeah.
We're setting records for how many times we can stop in, a 3-mile distance. Yo! Hey! Yo!
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Watch yourself.
I'm winning. I have beer.
Yeah! Woohoo! Made it! Man. Ready for the victory dance?
Ready for beer.
So, we finished this thing 24 hours ago, and today we drove 500 miles at 85 miles an hour on drag slicks. We didn't get a ticket, we didn't get arrested, we didn't get dead, and we made it to the zip tie drags. Thanks for coming. Hey everyone, we gotta also thank Lucky Costa and Steve Dulcich who helped us thrash. We built this whole thing in 6 days. And it's a thing of beauty. All right, beer me. Somebody here's gotta have a beer.
Where's the bonfire?
Where? Let's go stand there. Man, this has been an awesome day. It's been a thrash all week long. Actually getting here in the Truckling is like a major victory because I never have to drive it on the highway again, I hope. Tomorrow, it's gonna get even better. 4,000 people and some drag racing. We're gonna take that turd down the track ourselves. It's gonna be slow, but I refuse to be disappointed. Well, it's Saturday morning here at the Zip Tie Drags at Tucson Dragway, and we're just about to scale this thing. Oh, my tailbone is never gonna recover from last night. So what's your number on this?
I said $29.99.
I say 3,200. Boom.
Okay, hold on.
He's not gonna tell me.
Wow. I mean, remember, this weighed 5,800 pounds.
No, don't church it up.
I mean,
give me the
it
number.
was really heavy, and I don't want you to put a bullet in your head when you find out what this weighs.
What does it say?
3,566 pounds. Now, I mean, there's a pillow there. There's some stuff
That
in
is
here that
worthless.
you can take out.
3,500 pounds means it is not going to be anything close to fast. That is terrible. That motor's not spinning a tire.
With nitrous. Okay, new goal. Can we spin one tire on the bottle? I think we can.
Okay. Okay, now we find out if it'll do a 2-leg burnout. I don't think so. He's giving me a little bit of water. All right.
That's not looking good.
Whoa, this is slow. That is pathetic.
93 miles an hour. 1457. I did not see that coming.
I'm not even disappointed because this has just been too fun.
We can knock at least 2 seconds off of this with nitrous.
This thing is so gutless. It literally needs another 1,000 horsepower.
Ooh, 12-second ugly truckling. That has a nice ring to it. Wow.
All I have to say is it ain't overheating. That's all I got.
We win then.
Yeah.
We win.
What'd it do?
Oh God, it did way better than we thought it would.
Really?
14,
Really?
94 miles an hour.
94?
Yeah, it could be a 12-second truck.
It could be if we just spray it with like a 300 shot.
Yeah. Or leave the line with, more RPM.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
you can't really.
Well, we can fix that.
Yeah.
Nitrous.
Yeah. So nitrous up?
Yes.
All right.
It's time.
We're gonna have to put nitrous on this thing and try again later, but right now zip tie drags must go on. We're gonna go sign some autographs for some people, see some show cars, get some racing started, and we'll be back. The Roadkill Zip Tie Drags event was born here at Tucson Dragway a couple years ago. Basically, it is just a big fan get-together. We hang out with people, we get to have a look at their cars that they've brought for the show. People can race their cars down the track, and we hang out for some autograph sessions. It's just a good time. Okay, it's nitrous time. While we've been out doing the event, these guys have been working on getting all the nitrous ready to go, and so I'm just working on faith. I go out there and I stab this little button and things go quick.
This truckish thing has already run 1466 at 94 miles an hour, and they've superheated the bottle to about 1400 PSI, which is about 500 more than you ever want to put in a nitrous system. Nothing's going to go wrong with this plan. This is going to be awesome. Or it's going to go horribly wrong and we'll need that paramedic down there. Good luck!
You need to fix the stuck throttle.
Okay. I'm going to give it a little more spring here. Don't be nervous, Dave.
I'm not.
Okay, try it again.
Okay.
Okay, do this.
Good, the pressure's down.
Oh, it's still high. I'm gonna purge it. It's at 1300 and that's too much. Tell me when it gets to 11.
Okay, Finnegan's purging down the nitrous pressure here because the bottle, which we heated up inside the pilot truck, is actually too hot.
Oh yeah, you're good. All
Okay.
right, nitrous is on.
Okay,
If this explodes, we should be back here.
here we go. Nitrous pass. Hopefully we can get it in before it rains. I can't believe how packed the grandstands are to watch this pile go down the track.
Come on, Truckling. Be a hero.
Behind me, but that was no good.
All right, well, so we picked up a second and about 9 miles an hour. Not stellar. Room for improvement.
It just laid over in third. It wouldn't RPM at all.
You have enough pressure to go again.
Literally was laboring at 4,000 going, oh, kind of like it was way too rich.
He went out about 60 feet and hit the button, and when he did, it took off, but it poofed a bunch of black smoke. You could tell it was really fat. So I'm just gonna take some fuel pressure out. I'm guessing it's at like 7 right now. It should probably be closer to 6 or 5.5. So I'm just gonna turn it, like one full turn, and send it back out there again. All right, let's go.
Ready?
Yep.
Anything I need to know?
Oh, no, you're fine.
I thought so.
I got nothing left. Nice work. Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Yeah, at the top end, I don't know if you saw on the camera, I let off the button and it accelerated. That means there's a serious nitrous problem. 1275 at 103. That's a lot better than 1466. But we know it could be improved. Well,
all right, turn it off. I'll tell you the good news.
Well, the good news is it went 12s.
No. That's not the good news.
I'm ready for better news.
You are now a member of the 100 mile an hour club, friend.
Awesome.
That's legit right there. You can't just buy that.
So 1275, 103. Okay, this is gonna blow your mind.
Spun. Did it lay over again?
It spun real bad. It was laying over real hard, so I lifted off the button and it accelerated. So it's a full-on nitrous tune.
It's a good
problem.
nitrous tune. Well, you didn't have enough bottle pressure when you left.
Yeah. So that's about as good as it gets, I think.
That's 12-second truck.
Well, that didn't go exactly as I'd hoped. It was a great plan to just take a vehicle and strip all of the weight off of it like those guys did when they were building dragsters of the 60s. But the fatal flaw was that the garbage still weighed way too much and didn't make enough power. We ran in the 12s with it. I would really like to see this thing at least in the 9s in order to be impressive. But in typical Roadkill fashion, it was not the result, but the journey. We got to wrench with our friends, hanging out with Lucky and Dulcich. We made a road trip in this crazy thing all the way from LA to Arizona, and we ran it down the track in front of a bunch of fans of the zip tie drags. And I'm gonna go ahead and call that a win, but it'll only get bigger later on. We gotta add some boost to this thing or a different engine or something, because I'm not gonna be happy until it runs in the 9s. And if it does, you will see it in a future episode of Roadkill. Support companies that support Roadkill. Buy your speed parts at jegs.com.
Oh,
That hurt. Okay. I didn't see that. That would have sucked.
Oh, man.
Brakes work good.
At least the cameras are running for that.